Evening everyone, welcome back to the channel. So tonight I've got a confession. Here's my 2021 made in Mexico Fender Player Stratocaster, and look what I've done. I've decided to replace the neck with an old 2002 Squier Affinity Series. I think this is the Anniversary Series Stratocaster neck. Why have I done this? I'm just going to go through why, right from the headstock end to the bottom of the frets. I've done a video comparing this guitar with the Squier Strat, and on that video you can check it out on the channel. But I said that I actually preferred the Squier neck. So yeah, so I'm just going to try and sort of justify what I've done here. So starting from the headstock then, okay? So the first problem with the old neck, the Fender made in Mexico neck, was there was only one string tree. So what that meant was, I think the string tree was only on the high E in the B string. What that meant was there was quite a bit of acoustic resonance, or sympathetic resonance I think it's called, on the G string especially. So, I didn't want to really mess about with the headstock too much and put another string tree on. I tried to fix it by putting foam behind the nut, and I've got a video for that on the channel too. I tried just wrapping a bit of thread around it. The only real fix is to have another string tree on there, or to have staggered tuner posts. So anyway, that's solved problem number one. Problem number one with this guitar. Problem number two was the nut. The nut was just an absolute dog's dinner on the Player Strat. When I first got it, it was making sitar noises all over the place. Eventually, I got the nut replaced with a Graph-Tech nut. And then that needed to be cut down as well. It was never right. I spent a fortune on that old Player Strat, and I'm not going to spend any more money. So I just decided to put a good neck on it. Right, so that's that. And the next sort of, not really an issue, but another annoyance was the truss rod cover. I mean, I did a lot of work on getting it set up, and it was a mess, the truss rod cover. I'd taken off all the wood, and it just didn't look tidy anymore. So this is a much tidier sort of truss rod access point, if you will. Also, what I liked about the Squier neck is the big headstock. Some people prefer the big headstocks. I know it doesn't look as pretty as the Fender, and it hasn't got a Fender on the headstock, but some people say that adds a bit of sustain, having the bigger surface area on the headstock. I do like the 70s style headstocks. And I might even replace this neck with a Fender Performer neck, which has got the 70s headstock as well. The tuners, they're probably not as good quality as the Player Strat tuners, but they function okay. If I just flick it round, you'll see it's not those horrible trapezoid ones. It's it's the proper 2-pin tuners. It's fine. I'm not gonna worry about them. They function okay. I'm not gonna replace them yet. I mean, I guess what I could do is swap them out for the Player tuners, but I've noticed that the holes are in different places, so I'm not going to do that yet. Anyway, right, so what's next? I am actually going to flick it over now, just so you can see how nice this neck is. Especially compared to the Player Strat neck, which was like very light coloured. I mean, look at the figuring you've got on this. This is a beautiful neck. It's got a little bit of a sort of a glossier finish than the satin of the Player, but this is just a better neck. It feels so much sturdier. It's still medium C, but it just feels a little bit chunky and a little bit more comfortable in the hand. So let's just put it back over like that. Right, okay, so the next thing is this has got a rosewood fingerboard, you know, as opposed to the Power Ferro of the Fender, you know, so this is a bit of an upgrade. But I suppose the biggest issue with the Fender neck was the frets. You know, the frets were just terrible on the Player Strat, and you know, I had worked into the frets as well. It didn't solve it. I mean, the fretwork on this is great. I think also the neck feels a little bit wider, you know, especially at the nut, which is more comfortable for me. Yeah. I mean, downside is, I'll just go to the end of this again. It's only got the 21 frets as opposed to the 22, but you know, I can live with that. Let's flick it over again. You know, you can just see the joint, the neck joint. It's really snug. It's on there tight as well. So no issues whatsoever, really. You know, as you saw in my comparison video between this guitar and the Squier, the thing that I didn't like about the Squier was, even though I loved the neck, was the actual electronics. It had a thinner body, so you know, I really feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds here. You know, I've got the neck I wanted, and I've got the body I wanted, and the hardware. You know, the Player Strat's got the superior electrics, it's got the superior hardware, it's got the thicker body. Plus, I prefer the polar white color scheme as well. So yeah, so I mean, my logic behind this was really, I didn't want to sell the guitar. You know, I would have lost a lot of money on the guitar. I think it cost about £600 new. I probably spent over £100 on, you know, various fixes and mods to it, which I should never have had to do. You know, it still wasn't playing great. The real deal breaker for me was when I started to sort of learn some 3 notes per spring technique with the little finger. It was just, the neck sounded so dead compared to this neck and the neck on my Epiphone Les Paul. It was as though the notes weren't sounding. I mean, when you were fretting the notes, it was fine, but just when you were hammering on, the neck just seemed very, very dead. Very dead. Something was seriously wrong with that neck. So this cures it. Yeah, and like I say, I actually prefer this neck. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. I mean, look at that, the Squier. Having a Squier, I mean, this is my, you know, on the headstock. It just doesn't look as pretty, granted. But, you know, this is my first sort of parts caster, I guess. And it's kind of the best of both worlds for me. If you know, the neck I want, the body I want. I like the fact that this is a 22-year-old neck. You know, it's been played in. The frets are in great condition. Yeah, I'm starting to waffle, aren't I? So I think it's getting towards the end of the video. So yeah, I mean, if you've got a guitar that you're thinking about selling, you don't want to lose a ton of money on it, and you've got other guitars that are cheap like I did, why not experiment with just swapping the neck? I think it's worked. I think I'm happy for now. I don't have to sell another guitar, I don't have to buy another guitar. I'm going to stick with what I've got. Anyway, cheers. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. See you in the next one. Cheers.